Hello, hello, good afternoon, good morning if you're in the other side of the world. How are you, friends? Anna Zugeri here today on a Friday. I know this is unusual for the live streaming because it happens on Thursdays. And hopefully, you were in the live yesterday and learned a lot from Angie Huey, the pastor from Two Rivers Church in Tennessee. And I thought, like, well, we need a bonus episode today to kind of add on to all the fun stuff that she shared with us. And who better than another super sweet friend of mine and an expert on curriculum, because I think it's important that we touch on that subject today. So, with any further ado, and you probably know her from previous stream, and I hope you know her if you're in the children's ministry community. Here's my friend Leann Woelk. Let me pull you up here. Yay! How are
Oh, I'm
you?
back
Mommy.
again. Thanks for having me.
Oh, you are very welcome. I lost my confetti. Where is my confetti?
Oh
Are you
no.
serious? You deserve confetti, and you can, you know, I can't find it, but you get a kiss.
Okay. Oh, I receive it.
And I got balloons
Oh, this
all
is
over your face.
awesome.
Oh, thank you so much, friend, for being here today. Do you want to tell us a little bit more about you and what you do for the friends that are tuning in and haven't met you before?
Sure. So I'm the founder of Handle with Care Ministries, and I love to partner with churches to provide training, support, and care for children's ministry leaders and their church families. So I write curriculum and I do workshops and breakouts. And I just love on children's ministry leaders because I just think they are the most amazing people in the whole wide world. So that's what I do.
Yes, and you do it so well. So thank you so much again for being here and doing this in such a short notice, but you're super prepared for this. So, friends, we're
We'll
gonna
find
dive
out.
in. Right. Um, We're going to dive in again. If you're watching the replay, just let us know, please. Just put hashtag replayed, and you can leave all your comments, all your questions, and I'll make sure Leann gets them and help us navigate through those. And again, we're so happy that you're here. So let's just dive in, friend, on the questions and the conversation that we're having. So um, Angie was telling us yesterday about the fun that we can create in our own front yards or backyards, if you would, with our neighborhood friends, at parks, and everywhere. We are taking literally the church outside the church. And to me, that is my passion. That is so needed, and it's super fun. But where I invite people to do that, I think we get stuck or we get a little nervous about, like, well, I'm not a children's ministry leader, or I've never done that. Like,
Mm,
let's talk grandmas and first time moms, like how can they implement a curriculum? And I think that you are um, amazing are putting curriculum like this that is simple but effective. So
mm.
what can you share about that?
Well, I first have to, it's almost like a disclosure, is that I have actually never run a full on VBS ever. Just in the communities that I lived, we would come together as many churches and then we would put on VBS. So it just happened that I wasn't the lead at those things, but I learned so much. And so that was awesome. And I guess what I learned through the years is that you can be outbound. That's what I call it. Like normally we say outreach, but I use the word
Mhm.
outbound because often we are inbound and we're in our church And we're finding, at least here in Canada, that not everybody wants to come into the church.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah,
we've had to
it's
go
happening here
outbound.
too.
Yeah. So the backyard VBS is such a good thing. I have to say, I am so hot here today. It is a heat wave in my area. And I'm like, I think I'm sweating. So this is, just for your show to talk about summer.
It's all the conditions are working together.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, look, I'm so flush. Anyway, this is why I love your show, Anna, because you're so so basic with a little extra. So I'm just a little extra today.
Right, right, right.
Yeah, so I agree with Angie and you, like, people's backyards are great. People's front yards, cul-de-sacs that you live in, I think are amazing to do some things. And when COVID actually happened, another children's ministry leader and myself were like, we cannot just stay inside. We cannot just, I mean, we needed to social distance and
Not
do all
do
these,
it.
yeah,
Right.
we had all these restrictions anyway. So, out of that, it was kind of cool. We did something called Family Encounters at Parks, and we ended up having the families come together and participate. And you mentioned like about curriculum, and here's my tip for you guys, because I think sometimes the curriculum can trip us up if we have to do something completely different and brand new. So I suggest, why don't you take everything that you were working on this past year and pull out all those favorite parts, because you know that there are favorite parts that you would
Right.
totally redo. And you can reuse a lot of those pieces and just tweak it a little bit.
Mhm.
And the one thing that I get from most people when we talk about that is, well, what do I do with the kids that they've already been in my church and they're going to come too? Like, they're probably going to show up. I say, what a perfect opportunity to teach them how to be outbound. They can be part of teaching. They can, lead a song. They can do activities. Like, how beneficial is it to have those kids? Let's just say, the 8, 9, 10-year olds, maybe
Mhm.
12-year-olds, helping do all those activities.
Right.
So I don't see that as a bad thing. I actually think it's great.
Mhm.
And you know the stuff already. You've already been going through it. Your heart is prepared, and you can just let it flow out of your mouth, right?
Yeah,
Because you're
yeah.
already prepared in your heart for it. That's
Mhm.
probably my biggest thing. And I mean, there is so much out there that you can look up games and some different activities to throw in it, and it's going to be awesome. So I
Interesting.
mean, that's what I did. I used the
Yeah.
curriculum that, I mean, I wrote it and I knew it, and then we just picked and chose our favorites, and then off we went.
Yeah, yeah. So I love that idea for people that have, that are children ministry leaders or moms that volunteer at a church. But for the ones that are like, oh, wait a minute, I can do that, but where do I don't have $1,000 to buy supplies and the
No.
curriculum itself and all that stuff. And I love that when you and I had this conversation before, at the beginning of this week, and you mentioned, and that had not occurred to me, we just need God's word. Like,
Yeah,
you have
here
a
we go.
devotional. Right. Like, you don't, that's your curriculum, right? Like,
Yeah,
just pick up a passage or a story or anything that speaks to you and use that, right?
yeah. Yeah,
Like,
and
I
that's what
thought that
you
was
do,
brilliant.
Anna, right? Like, that's a big
Yeah.
part of how you went out into the neighborhood.
Right. Exactly.
Mhm,
Exactly. Because we hear also there's like this packages and it's really helpful and it's nice that it comes all together and they give you the copies and like the teaching prompts and all that kind of stuff, and it's ready to go.
mhm.
But when you don't have those resources, or where you don't want to apply all that stuff, you can just take any devotional, the Bible itself,
Yeah.
and go with it, right? So I've heard also people that don't even know what a curriculum is. So,
Mm.
can you tell us basically what that is, just in case that we have some people
Mm.
here that never heard of that?
Yeah, that's so
Okay.
interesting, right? We talk about curriculum a lot in kids ministry, so we just make an assumption that
That
everybody
everybody
knows.
knows. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I guess I would define it as your content, your teaching,
Mm.
and I mean, we're looking for what God's word says, and then how to make it relevant to the kids. And normally, it has a theme, kind of from start to finish, of some flow that you're trying to teach. So maybe you decide you're going to do fruit of the spirit, and so Galatians is your text, and then you're going to go through all 9 fruit of the spirit, and you're going to use real fruit, and that's what you'll serve as a snack. And I mean, I'm
Mhm.
sure, Anna, that there's people listening right now, like you're saying, some moms or dads or grandmas or grandpas or aunties and uncles, and they're like, oh, I could do that, you
Mhm.
know?
Yeah.
And yeah, let's go through it. So,
Right.
and then I just, I think I am someone who loves props. Like I've used lots and lots of props
Yeah.
over the years, but I've
Mhm.
learned to scale it down. So it's
Mhm.
not quite so much.
Yeah.
And just picking things that are going to be really, really effective. And you can't go wrong if you're doing fruit of the spirit, that you're using real fruit.
Right. Right.
Yeah,
An orange, some grapes. You just go to the supermarket, right?
yeah, yeah. And
And
that,
that can also
good
serve as
question.
a snack.
It could. Yeah,
Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah. So I love that, and to me that's one of the biggest things. Like, have this simplicity of putting something together that you are not distracted by organizing and putting ideas together. So can you talk to us a little bit about, now that you have the idea of the story that you want to share, or the Bible
Mhm.
verses that you want to share, how would you break down, let's say, okay, I want to do my backyard ministry for an hour and a half. How would I divide that hour and a half into different activities? What goes first? Do I give them the snack first? Why or why not?
Mm.
Do we do the game first? How, is there a rule for that, or how do you gauge what goes first?
Yeah. I would say it's the same thing that I would suggest in your classroom. And I actually I actually kind of say it's like a buffet where you have there's a starter, there's the appetizers, there's the main course, and then there's the dessert. And you kind of
Mhm.
always have those things.
Mhm.
And so I like what I would do is I always start with my welcome, my declaration, my I do something called the house rules, which is lots of people kind of want to make sure that all the kids understand what we're
Yeah.
doing here, and that we
Mhm.
should respect and be kind to one another. So if people need something, you can let me know. I'll give you my house rules.
Yeah.
and
Mhm.
and then I think it's best to like have them up doing activity, and then they can sit for about 10 minutes, and you focus on the teaching at that point. And then you get them up and you do a fun song or activity, and then they can sit down again. So, I mean, for some people, that's a lot of up and down, but you're going to captivate them a lot better if they are um having short times of sitting and listening, and they
Mhm.
can do it. Like they can sit 10-15 minutes at, pretty good.
Yeah.
But then you got to get up and you got to get moving, and to have interactive things for them to do. So again, it's funny that we're talking about fruit of the spirit, but it's a great one for summer
Yeah.
because the fruit is
Right.
accessible. Yeah.
Yep.
And so they're actually tasting and eating and just being part of experiencing, ooh, like fruit of the spirit. It tastes good, and it's nourishing, and you could just pull so much out of the fruit of the spirit, right? And then I I so I like
Apples and
like
bananas.
eating. Yeah. I like to eat. I like non-messy crafts. Like,
Yeah. Hmm.
if we can have a sidewalk and paint with brushes and water,
Hmm.
how fun is that?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? Like, I
Yes.
really,
Simple.
I'm just not a big messy craft person.
Right.
And I also like, I'm sure I've talked about my lap books before. Where did I put my lap book?
Hmm.
Oh, here. Like, here's a mini
Yeah.
lap book. I like to have a theme and then make, oh, it's upside down. That would be better if I did it the other way.
Oh.
But this is my lap book. And this makes into a cross. And we learn the different flags of racing. So there's a common theme, and they're making this, and then they get to take this home at the end of the time together as a little reminder and review. And what I find is that parents love this. Like, this doesn't go in the garbage when it goes home. This actually ends up on their shelf, and they pull it out, and you can do all sorts of lap books. And I'm just telling you this because it's so different, right, Anna? When you're
Hmm.
not in a classroom, and we're very used to using technology now. And so instead, you kind of have to have some things that you can hold and show. And so again, lap books, I know it's kind of hard to get the whole picture here, but lap books open up, and you
I
can
love that
use this one
one.
as a visual. This is a
Hmm.
declaration with heart to heart prayer. This one I do with the armor of God cheer, and that's
Aw.
inside. Oh, I'm upside down on every single one. A little extra. I told you that.
Yeah.
But you know, I think having that kind of visual is really actually important,
Yeah.
and then ending with like a kind of a like a solid ending.
Hmm.
And then I do like, okay, let's do really fun games and running around and screaming, and but
Right.
I kind of
They
wait for the,
control it, chaos, right?
yeah, controlled chaos completely.
Right.
So
Well,
yeah, you know what? And uh I think you have to, you're going to know what works for you the best. And I think that's really important to like customize
mm,
what
mhm,
you do for your church, your neighborhood, because you know what
mm,
is going to work. And I know we were talking about curriculum. And I did want to mention something that we have done when I lived in Yellowknife was, even though I wasn't the lead, we actually just used some old VBSs that were left on a shelf that
mhm.
nobody was using anymore.
Yeah.
And we pulled those, and we could use some backdrops. And, obviously it had some suggestions for games and activities and lessons. So that's a really resourceful way to
Mm,
do something. We did like a,
yeah.
I don't remember, but it was something to do with snow and ice, and we were in the summer in Yellowknife,
Mhm.
so
That sounds fun. And
yeah.
like it occurs to me, like, also one of the things that I did when I was doing I call it sidewalk ministry. It
Yeah.
was after BVS, there were the bigger churches have leftover material, but they were
Mhm.
not able to use it again because it was leftover, but it wasn't enough for the numbers that they had. So
Yeah.
I went and grabbed it and used it in my ministry because I never knew how many kids I was going to get every time. So I had, different coloring pages, and I just, okay, well, the little ones can sit over here and the older ones over here, and using it from David's
Mhm.
story and this one from Moses, and it doesn't matter, right? Like, it was just material that I could repurpose or use. So,
Yeah.
um,
And that is so good, Anna, because let's be honest, are they ever going to use those materials? Like,
yeah.
really?
Hmm.
Probably not. And they're
Right.
all of a sudden they'll purge the resource room and it just gets thrown out. So
Exactly.
if you
Yeah.
could have a partnership with one or two churches that they know that you're going to be going to do something in the summer, and then someone like you, Anna, you're creative and you go, okay, so I have these coloring pages. How am I going to put
Mhm.
this together
Yeah.
and tell the stories? And ultimately, we're telling them the story of Jesus, like where
Right.
these,
Right.
that's our main goal, right?
Yeah, and I just thought about it because my husband was cleaning the garage a few weeks ago and he was like, "Oh, do we still need this?" It's a big bucket that I have with broken crayons because
Hmm,
what I was doing is I was peeling, the paper out of the crayons and then using like molds like for cookies and or cupcakes and melting all those little pieces of crayons and will make like a toddler crayon, for
that's great.
those to use. And my daughter's school, the kids collected all the broken crayons and gave them to me in a bucket, so the bucket's still there. I have a
Yeah.
lot of crayons to peel to still use, but that's another idea right there, right?
Yeah.
But
Awesome.
so again, I love that your curriculum. So I'm still praying about it and trying to get my ducks in a row as far as my summer schedule with my daughter, my husband, and my part-time job to try to do it here at my house. So I feel the tug that God is telling me to do that, but I have to craft some things. But the curriculum, if I do it, I'm definitely going to use Leann's curriculum because I love it. I've seen it, I've tested it, and it's so wonderful. And I don't need to think. I don't like to think. So, can you tell us about this particular? And I know you have several, but the one about the race, I can't remember the name
The
of it.
Romans road race. Yeah.
It's one of my
So
favorites, and you brought some pictures, right? So,
I I did, yeah. So just to clarify once again, so my kids encounters are 6 lessons or sessions that are meant for either Sunday mornings, or they could be used as a midweek, or they could be a weekend experience. So they're much more than they're much more material than you actually need for going, to the backyards and things like that. However, they could be totally used for that too. And that's why I say, like, if you use them, so if you're even just thinking ahead for, okay, and this coming year, I'm going to have a racing theme, and I could
mhm,
use the Romans Road Race, and I could use the armored car and racing gear, and a couple of others. And then again, you pick and choose. So in the summer, you've already actually figured out what you're going to do for the summer, so that it's
mhm.
not so stressful. That's kind of
Yeah,
my thing. Why
yeah,
stress about it?
and it like you said, it can be tailored for
Yeah, that's
any
right.
kind of churches or backyard ministry or sidewalk or you name it. I
Yeah.
love it for small, medium, or church or large churches too.
Yeah.
So,
And it's kind of the goal of it, because I personally don't do well with boxed curriculum that says, say this, ask this, pray this.
mhm,
I it's almost like I resist it. I can't do that.
mhm.
And
Yeah,
that's my personality. And that doesn't mean it's wrong at all. No, it's
right. It's
fabulous,
just
but it
preference.
just
So,
doesn't
yeah,
work for me. So I write my own. And actually
and
that's what
I
a lot of
love
people do.
it.
You write your own too a lot.
Yeah,
Anna, too. So
I
yeah, these
do.
pictures are just to show a couple of things that we did. And again, we did it as a family encounter at the park, meaning that the families came with. It makes it so great because not only do you not need as many volunteers, but you don't need, or I'm sorry, you're reaching the parent as much as the child. And to me, that's what's important. So you can see I'm very happy in that picture. Just
I love it.
I use lots of inflatable things, and that's like a play structure in the back. But if you'll see a different picture, and it looks like a car, and so I just put my creativity on, and there,
Right.
that's my
That's
lap.
that's also a very important point right there. Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
That
So
you don't have to carry or put up a stage and take it down and put it like portable stuff, or
yeah, that's a really
easy.
good point.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
a couple Rubbermaids. I mean, that collapsible thing kind of just got shoved in the car.
yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, and there's my
Oh,
car. Isn't
that
that
is so
hilarious?
fun. Yeah.
And
Love
then
it.
they're wearing the racing gear, and they're sitting inside there. And what's funny is that when you're doing things outside, you never know what's going to happen. And so
Right.
in the heat, my tires were like deflating. But then you know what? I just kind of ran with it, and I was
Yeah.
like, you know,
Mhm.
we gotta fill her up.
Mhm.
We
Mhm.
got to spend
Yeah.
time in God's word, and then we made individual little cars. And here's something that you probably aren't going to hear a lot from other people, but in our COVID years, when we were doing this, we were having families bring their own supplies, because that
Mhm.
was just
Yeah.
part of
Mhm.
helping them feel safer and all that stuff. But I kind of still like to do that,
Yeah. Mhm.
because it makes everything much more unique to each individual child,
Mm.
and
Yeah.
you keep the supplies simple. And then we did bring a few extra, I guess you could call them kits or something,
Mhm.
because we were not in a backyard, we were actually at the splash park, or we were just at another park in our area, and we would have kids or families like come and say, oh, what are you doing? Could we be part of it? So we were prepared with that, but we actually
Okay.
had people come, and yeah, and here we're racing in the
Your
race of life.
cars. I
Good
love it.
sports, those girls that came out to help me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
Oh,
and then we
that's
did some
so nice.
heart-to-heart prayer. We were talking to the Lord, and we
Mhm.
we took chalk, and that was just on a
Oh.
playground, like a basketball court, and
Mhm.
we had them make their own little space, and then they sat in their cars, and we just talked about how God speaks to our hearts and how does he speak to us, and that was really precious. And I remember, in particular, this day, I had a child, come to me and say, I think God's telling me I'm supposed to tell you something. And it was just an encouraging word. I mean,
Yeah.
I lost it. I was bawling.
Oh,
It was,
goodness. I would too, totally. Oh
yeah,
my gosh. And those are the most um amazing things, that you think you're doing something for your community and for the kids, and then every time I went out there, I was the one that got ministered to.
yeah,
And so it's a win-win situation from every side, I think. So
yeah,
I
for
love
sure.
that. I love this picture. Tell us about this one.
Uh, this is called the Care Wash. It's a play on the words for a car wash, but
Oh.
God cares for our heart. And so the kids are actually the different sections of a car wash. So I mean, they don't have everything
Mm.
upright, but those dusters, they're not really
Uh-huh.
feather dusters, but
Right.
those big brushes that are
Brushes.
in a car wash. Yeah.
Mhm.
So as the person was coming by, then they're squirting them with misters and waters, and then they're making the brushes go on them, and then the little girl in the front, she's got that blue thing. That's a balloon.
Oh, for the air to dry.
Yeah,
Oh,
those are the air cannons.
that
And this is all about how we are out in a race as a believer in Jesus, and then we come home, and it's been rough out there, and so we
Mhm.
need to spend time in His Word, and we're washed in the Word, and His mercies are new every morning, and then we get dressed and put on the armor of God again. So that's kind of the
Yeah.
connection with it.
That is so fun. I'm already like, oh, I want to do that.
Yeah. It's very fun. Oh, and then this one was really cool too,
Mhm.
that the um we ended up, it was a park, but there was a beach, and
Mm.
we just thought, well, let's go
Beautiful
down to the beach.
Canada.
Yeah. In Canada. And so it's just showing that, what, you can do this anywhere, and it was fun on the beach as well.
That is so fun. Yeah, right here it would be like the ditch, and we
Yeah.
might find frogs and snakes in
Yeah. And I
there.
just have to say that this is reminding me now, one of those ladies
Mhm.
in the picture there, she had brought her grandchildren and some foster children that she has. And then they were leaving, and the neighbor boy said, "What are you doing?" And they're like, "Oh, we're going to this thing." And so they said, "Do you want to come with?" So she got permission from the parent across the street. And that little boy gave his life to Jesus that day. Uh,
What?
and that's what it's
Oh,
all about.
yes, yes. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Look
No,
at
and
this.
this
Oh.
this was our winner's circle. So, at the end of the race, you have a winner. And we just talked about how God, like how Jesus is the winner when he said, "It is finished." The finish line is the cross and what he did for us, and that he rose again. He's victorious. Praise the
Mhm.
Lord.
Yeah.
And just kind of showing how, again, this was a parking lot that was close to a field. And then we just used our two cars, and we just put
Mhm.
some decorations up. And I mean, that's pretty simple.
Mhm.
That's not very fancy backdrop, and
Yeah.
but I kind of like it.
Yeah.
It's basic with maybe just
Yeah.
a little extra, right?
Yes. I love it. I love it. These are great ideas. I think it will help a lot of people, if again, to expand the possibilities of what Angie shared with us yesterday, which was amazing. But I also, time flies when you're having fun. But I want to share with our friends, and let me pull it right here, to how to get to your website,
Hmm.
because and you can help me navigate through it. Can you guys see it?
Yes. You
Okay.
could just X out the little hello, although that will pop up for everyone. So
Okay.
the Handle with Care website is as you see it right there. And
Okay.
that just is kind of a landing page, so you can kind of see the things that I am involved with and how I can help. And then the place where you really want to go, though, is the community. And that little pop-up that was there, you can click on that,
Thank
or
you.
that will take you right to the community. And it will show you, it kind of looks like a well-known social media platform.
Oh, you know what? Because hold on, because it opened in a different tab. It wasn't sharing, but there
Oh,
it is. So
yeah.
it will look like this, right?
Yeah, so
Mhm.
there's posts and things there, and then, you
Oh.
talk about fruit, that is, I knew Ruth Elizabeth from, like, before he was born, and it is so exciting when we see the kids that were in our ministry. She's becoming a pastor now, and we
Wow.
got together to talk about
Yeah.
children's ministries. She's doing exactly what you're talking about here, Anna. They're doing
Mhm.
backyard, I keep calling them clubs, but, I guess
Mhm.
that's some wordage I knew from before.
Yeah.
But, just going out into their community, and they're having Freezy Fridays, I think they're calling them. And, that's I mean, that's pretty simple, right? Freezy
Mhm.
Fridays,
Yeah.
they're just gonna go out in their community, give freezies, love on kids.
Yeah.
Anybody can
And
do that.
I
You don't
love
even
it.
need curriculum.
Right. Absolutely, absolutely. So, friends, just make sure that you connect with Leann. Again, I love the articles she writes in her newsletter, and in her website also has an app which I just discovered not long ago, and I love it because I get the notifications there
Mm.
versus like sometimes it's easier for me to look on the phone than okay, wait until I get to my computer and then I forget, and it was a really good information I should have from Leann and I didn't look at it. So
Oh,
I strongly recommend that you download the app. It's very helpful. And where can people go actually get the curriculum? It was in the other tab, right?
no, they'll actually find it here. So
Okay.
it will be in here. Yeah. And you'll find the kids encounters on the side. But what
Oh,
I'll
right
do
here.
is uh that's what is an encounter, but the Romans Road race, go down one more up
Right here.
there. Yeah.
Mm, okay.
And it'll look different for
Okay.
you probably, Anna, just because you're already enrolled there.
Member. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so they can find out more in there.
Right. So right here you can check out all the details,
Yeah.
and obviously you can see right here in the corner you sign up. It's super easy.
Yeah.
Again, I love it, and you can check out the website there.
And it's free to come in and be in the community. If you're a children's ministry leader and
Mhm.
you just want community and a connection and ideas, that's the place that will happen. Um,
Mhm.
so
Or
yeah,
prayer, because sometimes
and
I've gone
prayers.
there
And I've got some
and
exciting
yeah,
stuff
prayer.
coming up for the new ministry year.
Uh-huh.
God is always, we're moving along, giving us vision of okay, what's next and what's needed. And I kind of like being out of the box, a little bit different. So I'll do
That
what he says to do.
you're so obedient. Sometimes
Yeah.
I'm like, "Are you sure, Lord?"
Oh, I say that too.
Yeah. But friend, thank you so much for sharing so much wisdom and ideas. And again, I just hope that this blesses someone to, or to do children's ministry at some form of fashion. And if you have any questions, leave them in the comments, or you can find, I will put Leann's information also in the show notes, so you can go and contact her and also be part of the community or leave questions. But now the questions are for you, Leann, because usually at the end of the show I have silly questions for my guest. Are you up for
Oh,
that? Like
great.
the rapid fire questions. And I have a new piece of software
Okay.
here. It's supposed to make it fun, so I still have to add some music, I think. But you ready?
Okay.
Because the wheel is the one that picks the questions. So we'll
Okay.
see
Yeah,
what
you
it
have
does.
no influence on this. I'm not sure,
Not
Anna.
at all. Okay. So
I don't know what it is.
it's those are words that sound the same as they are written, and I had to look it up too because me know English very well. But onomatopoeia. Beth Guckenberg says it really well. It's like words like bang, like
Oh,
BANG, bang, or like
okay. Mom, is that right?
yes, I guess I'll take it. Me no English, but
That is a big word for those
I
kinds of
need,
words.
yeah, I need to practice that one.
That's
On how to
hilarious.
say it, but I'm
You're
pretty
so
sure
cute.
there's a lot. I just can't think of any. Okay.
Oh,
What chore do you hate doing at home?
oh man. I'm trying to decide.
Mhm.
I don't like laundry and I don't like cleaning. So I don't know. They're kind of equal. I do them,
Right
but
there.
Yeah,
Right.
I'm not
But they're
like
not
some
your
friends.
favorite.
I
Okay.
don't know. Some of my friends really like cleaning, and they should come to my house.
When was the last time you shared your faith?
Mm. Um, let's see. Today is what? Thursday. Well,
Mhm. Thursday, Friday.
today I did, but if that's supposed to be like with an unbeliever, then
Mhm.
it would have been technically, I'm going to say 10 days ago.
Oh, okay. I was like, for me, okay, wait a minute. We're in 2023. That would be horrible. Which I mean, I have to say I don't walk to strangers and share my faith, but I should.
And well,
Mm,
I
like,
don't generally do that. That doesn't work as good. Relationship is
right?
better.
Name the
Oh,
last book you read.
the one I'm currently reading, what is it? Softly and Lowly? Is that what it's called?
No, humble, right?
Uh,
I
like
had it here.
seriously, we're doing the same book, so this is good. This puts you on the spot, Anna.
Gentle, gentle, gentle
What is
and
it?
gentle and
Gentle and
lowly. Yes,
yes,
we're doing
and
the same book.
it's been interesting. Like
Oh my
it's
gosh.
wow, yeah,
Um,
really amazing how God uses
yes.
authors, you know.
You kind of have to be like, I highly recommend this book, but just be ready to stuff to come out.
Yes, and
But it's good.
don't quit, because
Yeah.
sometimes I've been
Hmm.
like, "Oh, I don't know, do I really wanna go here?" And then the next chapter blew me away.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Last question. Have you ever hidden candy from kids just so you could eat it?
Oh, I'm sure I
Be
have.
honest. Be honest.
I'm sure I have. I'm trying to think specifically. I would have hidden it I would have hidden it, at camp, because otherwise the candy would be gone before we got through camp,
Yeah.
but just for myself yeah, I probably hid certain ones, I like high
Hmm.
chews,
Hmm.
and, then, like, all my favorite kind are gone because the yeah,
Hmm.
so, yes, I would've, I'm sure.
I have I have a confession to make right now because I felt convicted. I
Oh.
hide chocolate from my daughter.
Do you?
Right here, yeah, like I don't want to share it, so I eat chocolate, and you know, some moments when I need it.
Yeah,
Sorry,
I would hide chocolate.
the dog is barking, but
Yeah, that's okay. I think mine did too earlier.
mhm, yeah,
I would hide chocolate if they didn't leave it for me, but they
right.
kinda leave it for me, so it's okay.
No, I if it's chocolate, I don't care. I'll go for it.
I love it. I
Oh,
love it.
I'm so sorry about the background.
That's
But
okay.
this is it. This is it, friends. It's very basic. It's very basic. So, again, friend, thank you so much for doing this. I had a great time. I hope you did too. Thank you for sharing all your knowledge and wisdom and your website right here, friends. Just check it out. Come and join us in the community.
Yeah.
And if you have any questions, let us know, right?
Yeah, like, really, really, we mean it. Like,
Yeah.
we really
Yeah.
we like
Mhm.
to help. It helps
Mhm.
us. We all grow together when we ask questions, and I just
Yeah.
appreciate you, Anna, that you bring up some really great topics that aren't just, um, I don't know, they're not just the everyday stuff. Like, you wanna know more, and
Mhm.
I just appreciate how you, touch the lives of children's ministry leaders and, yeah, all those around you. You're a very sweet, sweet friend to
Oh,
have in
thank
my
you so
life.
much. Oh, just, right back at you, friend. Right
Yeah,
back at you.
thank you.
But again, friends, thank you so much. Let us know that you're watching the replay so I can give you some popcorn and have a great weekend. And don't forget to love Jesus, obey
Mm.
Jesus, and tell everyone about him. Thank you so
Amen.
much, Leann. We'll see you next time.
Awesome. Thanks, Anna. Bye, everyone.
Bye.